For many people new to emergency preparedness, aka prepping, there's a lot of information out there, and a lot of times it may seem overwhelming, whether it's the different types of gear and equipment, whether it's the sheer cost of things, because you see lots of videos, lots of content where people have a year's worth of food and they've got mountain climbing gear and they've got electric bikes for powered up for when they run out of fuel for their vehicles, and there's a lot to take in. But in this video, I'm going to walk you through some small, simple, basic steps, things that you can find at a dollar store to get you started with your emergency preparedness. Just putting together a basic survival kit, a blackout kit, one of those just in case you need to have a few things ready to go, and skedaddle kit. This is Urban Sentinel, and let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to be going through the store in no particular order, picking up the things as we go. Right now, small spiral notebook, 3-pack of pens, and this $3 clear plastic tub with a lid, clear rain poncho, some baby wipes, hand sanitizer, pre-sorted or rather assorted Band-Aids, gauze pads, acetaminophen, package of lighters, got a flashlight, 2 quarts of water, box of cereal bars, tuna with crackers, little tiny fruit cup. All right, gonna head to checkout next. All right, I will tell you this, I spent more time in line than I did actually picking all that stuff out, but you know, it is what it is. It was a busy morning. Should have gotten here earlier, but I didn't. Let's go through some of the stuff I've got and you'll see what's going on. All right, now, reminder, for those of you that are just getting started in emergency preparedness and prepping, this is not an end-all survival kit. This is just a combination of small things here and there that you will need at some point in time. It's not to say that you can't go online and buy one of those pre-made kits, and they have a lot of good stuff in there. And there are things inside this that I didn't get at the dollar store because it's a dollar store. They're not going to have everything. So this is just to sort of get you started. Or if you already have a bug out kit or some type of disaster preparedness kit, maybe you want to supplement that or make a second one. It never hurts to have, let's say, one in your vehicle, and have a kit. If you've got a desk at work, have it in a desk drawer. Or maybe you've got a gym membership to a gym that you rarely go to, but you have a locker with a lock on it. You can stick something in there. Or if you've got a friend or family member that you kind of feel needs to have something because they're not as prepared as you'd like them to be, you can put something together, nothing really fancy, but it'll help in small little bits. Now with this kit here, I just threw together a few things, common item things, and some more or less basic stuff that you can pretty much find in a dollar store, in a convenience store, especially if you're scrambling trying to do just that. You might be caught out without your bag. You might be someplace in between and you need to get a few things together as quickly as you possibly can. All right, so we got the storage container itself. Whether you get a bag or a hard container, it's up to you, just depending upon what you need. It's pretty much decent size. It's a 14-quart container, so no matter what, it's going to hold this and a lot more. I'm just going to pull it out. We're going to go through it. So we've got baby wipes. Baby or not, everyone's got to wipe their butt, and that's a good way to just keep a general level of personal hygiene going on. I've got some cereal bars because you need something to eat. I also got a thing of tuna and salad. In fact, I'm going to pull these out. And these, a small little fruit cup, mandarin oranges. Now, granted, these do not do well if they're kept in a hot environment. So obviously you want to keep it someplace cool and dark. And everything has an expiration date on it. So reasonably speaking, I'm probably going to eat these as soon as I finish the video. So we'll stick these over here. But something like the tuna and even the cereal bars here, these chewy oat and honeys, they'll last for a while if they haven't been compromised by exactly that, being gotten too hot, kept in the sun or light or someplace. Or if they're in a drawer, in a locker, under a desk, a kitchen cabinet, even in the trunk of your car, which can get very warm, but if it's effectively stuck underneath a blanket or towel, something like that, that acts as an insulator, not as bad. But again, you've got to choose certain things that you want for you. Now I grabbed this jumbo bottle of water for no particular reason other than it was there and I needed a bottle of water, and this is 2 quarts. So as far as hydration, just with this alone, even excluding the fruit cup, I would be able to, if necessary, survive easily 24 hours to 48 hours, depending upon what I'm doing. I would probably still go through the water faster than I would the food, but again, food for short-term energy, water for hydration to maintain a certain level of balance in your body. Hand sanitizer, because germs are nasty and germs cause a lot of problems. Need a flashlight. Gets dark, you need to signal. Lighters in case you do need to start a fire for warmth in the wintertime, or if you need to set off a fuse on a set of demolition charges, but that's neither here nor there. First aid is always important, so we've got some first aid tape. I just grabbed this small prefab one. It comes with several assorted band-aids, and again, if you're going to make a first aid kit, you're obviously going to expand beyond just what comes in a small pre-made like this. Some gauze, some acetaminophen because pain sucks, batteries to go with the flashlight. You always want to make sure some flashlights come with a battery and some flashlights don't, and even the ones that do come with the battery, always best to get another set because you don't know how long that flashlight was on the shelf and how many people have come by clicking it on and off day after day after day until that battery level is only good enough for the 5 seconds that you had it on before you bought it. Pens and a notebook. This way you can write down instructions, leave a note for somebody, whatever it is. You can draw out a map if you needed to of an area, whatever that case may be. An emergency rain poncho, because in general, rain as a whole or any type of atmospheric element, you want to have some protection depending upon what it is. And a sewing kit, which you really won't need more than one, but again, if you're going to make multiple kits, then certain items you will probably want to have more of. This would be something on a temporary basis, and if necessary, you could also use this if you had an emergency to actually stitch a wound up that gauze and tape and a band-aid by itself won't really cover. Grand total for all of this was $25.49. So for less than $30, that effectively is a starter kit. Now obviously you can tweak and tune that. If you have prescription medicines or certain things that you need, that would be on you to get in there. If you have certain food sensitivities and allergies, again, you want to put food in there that's not going to spoil too quickly, and it will provide you with a certain level of sustenance, whether it be for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is. You can build that kit up from that point forward. There are other items that I wanted to have in there, but again, this was simply going to the dollar store. Now, some dollar stores, you may find more there. They may be entire hardware sections and full-size produce sections, whatever the case may be. Again, that's something in your area that you have to think about, that if you had to go and do a little window shopping in a hurry, you'd know where to go because you'd say, okay, this store has more of what I need. And that's really what it comes down to, is taking stock of the things that you have, the things that you need for those situations. So you always want to make sure that, number one, you have a decent first aid kit to start and build up from. Then you have some type of sanitation, general hygiene to keep yourself clean, keep bacteria and germs and viruses from potentially spreading. Clothing, that's an optional thing. I've got a go bag that I have a change of clothing in that I switch out basically fall, wintertime, warmer weather, thick socks, warm hat, gloves, sweatshirt, versus spring, summer, usually an extra t-shirt, usually at the most a windbreaker that doubles as a raincoat, and not much more than an extra pair of pants, and that's about it. So certain things like that, again, you tailor it to your needs, and that's really what it comes down to. Those pre-made kits usually do come with a lot of good stuff, a lot of fancy things that are necessary, but they can also run up a large cost, and it gets to a certain point where if you're just doing this for you by yourself and there's no one else, you're kind of good to go. You can spend what you want to spend. But when you're trying to make bug out kits and bug out bags and emergency bags for multiple people in your household, multiple vehicles that you may have, multiple locations that you might be at, the price can start going up, and that's when you start looking at things a little bit differently. You start thinking, well, yes, in an emergency, you want to make sure that it works if it's some type of device, or that it's safe to consume if it's some type of food product. But also, when you hit that emergency point, having something is still better than having nothing at all. And that's where you have to kind of figure out where that line is for you. Now, because I already have pretty much everything that you see here, I've got in multiple versions back at my place. I've got them in my vehicle bag, my bug out bag, all over the place. So this tub and all of these other things are going to get dispersed throughout those different areas. Some are going to be put up on the shelf with the other food supplies. Some are going to be put into a tub where I've already got extra first aid equipment, extra, utility knives and other different things like that. And it'll all be situated in those areas for when I need to either assemble a whole new kit, or I want to swap a few things out, change up a kit depending upon what I'm going to be doing. And that's primarily what it comes down to when you start getting into prepping. It is overwhelming. There's a lot to be done because you start to realize how far back you are when it comes to emergency preparedness. And when you watch the news and you see natural disasters, earthquakes, floods, wildfires, things like that, and then you also see man-made disasters when, a riot overtakes a neighborhood, or, a drunk driver knocks out a telephone pole and the entire neighborhood is without power, or any other type of calamity that goes on. Yes, it might be isolated to a few square blocks or a few square miles, or it could be something that's much bigger that takes over a whole region, a whole county, or a whole state, or a whole part of the country. You don't know, and you can never guarantee where you're going to be and what kind of mental or physical condition you're going to be in when something happens. But if you at least have something, a little bit, just to keep you going long enough, that can make the difference right there. So again, whether it's the dollar store, hardware store, grocery store, whether you order online, whether you go to thrift stores and flea markets, whatever it is, you start piecing together your survival kit. Look at it from what you want the kit to be able to do. Do you want it to be something where you can grab that kit, whether it's a box, a bag, what have you, and just be off on your own for 24 hours and not have to worry about anything? Do you want it to be a supplement to something else, to be just enough to get you to your friend's house or that family retreat area or the rendezvous point where you've got other people in your group and then you're all going to move to another area? Or whether you need it to be something to hold you out for 72 hours, sort of like what FEMA suggests having in case of emergency, until you can either hopefully get help or get to a safer place than what you're at. All of those things vary, but all of them all have common elements, common items that are seen and used throughout all of them. It's just simply a matter of finding that balance of what you need more of, or what you're more likely, based upon your own knowledge, going to utilize. And again, you can't prepare for every scenario, every event that happens, and there's no way to buy and bring all that equipment that you might need. A 72-hour bag isn't necessarily going to basically give you water, food, medicine, and everything else for exactly 72 hours. Some things may last longer, some things not long enough. Some items might be a one and done, you use it that one time and that's it. Other things you can keep reusing or extend their life, as it were, far beyond the 72 hours. But that comes down to understanding it, practice, and gaining that experience and that knowledge. So the best thing you can do is, you're new to this, start small, simple, small steps, build up what you have a little bit at a time. And if you did find this video interesting, amusing, and in any way possible helpful, like, share, subscribe, help me out, so this way the algorithm knows that people are watching, people are liking, people are sharing and subscribing, and I'm going to keep putting out content like this as I go along. But that's it for now, and I'll catch you in the next one.